Initiating HYPERGATE. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. HYPERGATE activated. The portal to illuminating the collective consciousness has finally opened. Please enter the HYPERGATE now.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's David Palmer, the Leo King, here from HighVibe.tv and the normally scheduled program of Deep Love Tarot. And actually, I had announced that tonight I was also going to do sun sign horoscopes for the collective individually and make that back on this channel for free. It's not going to happen tonight. Now, there's a number of reasons why. But before I get to personal reasons or business reasons why, and of course, the goal is to, of course, bring that all back to you next week. But I have multiple reasons to speak to you tonight. And this is a definite, just level truth talk to humanity, to all of us as human beings. And I think it's more important to start from this standpoint of why I feel called to do this video tonight, the way that it's going to be. Because we are in not dire straits. We are not in mass confusion. We are not a collective that is here to be in fear at all right now. I've done this for a long time. And I know for those out there on YouTube, you used to see me here every day, of course, until I built my own platform and moved up pretty much everything onto that. So for those that are on High Vibe, those people know pretty much everything that I have to say about the world today. But after what has corresponded in my life over this weekend and this full moon, but also just even today from the messages of fear, and I've gotten that through Pluto-Uranus squares of 2012 to 2015, or North Node Saturn in Scorpio, or the eclipse of October 23rd, 2014 with the Sun, Venus, Moon, as they were all moving from Libra and they moved into Scorpio at the same time. I mean, I've done my work. I've seen it, but I've never seen fear on this level after the announcement today of approvals per se, or approval. And I want to be straight with you all about where, as a guide, as a very Chiron individual that I am, with the North Node and Chiron conjunct in Gemini, and North Node's sitting on top of both in my chart, transiting him, that I thought that I have my own personal reasons, which I'll get to, but this is not a time for me to sit in individual sun signs and just what's going on with your love life and what's going on with your energy, because this is a collective moment. So I want to take this time to level with you right now. Number one, this isn't about left or right anymore. This isn't about all the stuff that we have all gotten caught up in, including myself. This is legitimately on one level that's left: humanity. This isn't about beliefs. This isn't about anything but truth now. And the only reason why so much of the collective is in fear isn't because of what's happening on the outside, what stories are coming out, what approval is happening, which passport's happening, what's happening with violence, what's happening. You know, those things are definitely warranted to have fear. But if you look at the collective shadow at this moment, the issue that is happening is that the collective does not feel like a collective anymore. And this is something that on December, I think it was 23rd on Deep Astrology of 2019 that I warned people about, that I didn't know how I was going to do a horoscope anymore for a collective that would be splitting. And that was over 2 years ago. I was just over 2.5, or I was, almost 2 years ago, over a year and a half ago. And to be level with you all, I mean, I felt that. I mean, I feel like the astrology community split. So all the people who have these certain beliefs about the world and how it looks through astrology have gone to this corner, and the others have gone to that corner. And the fear is that we've all been put into a place to where whatever that higher, actually I'm going to say lower vibration is that is out there, has done its job. It has split us up. And I know that this might just sound like, okay, I already know that. But I'm here to tell you at this very moment right now, and looking at the astrology of not only just this week, but just looking ahead in September, and with all these planets retrograde, and with Pluto that's about to come direct, that Michael Luton did an amazing post about Pluto and when it does come direct here, and it will hit the United States Pluto return. And you have to remember that when any planet turns direct, it knows where it's going. The same way when you're ready to travel and you're at the hotel and it's like, where am I going? Am I going home or am I going here? Planets know where they're going to hit, so they have this energy about them. The same way that in the fall of 2019, when we saw Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto all direct, we knew they were all going to come and meet in 2020, and you could feel in your life the energy prior. And I know there was a lot of people at the time who thought I was crazy, but deep down inside, you could just walk around the world, and you could walk into a store, you could walk into a bar, you could walk into your car, you could look at the sky, you could feel like something was off. Well, how much farther are we going to continue to keep things from feeling off? We're at a time right now where this is going to have to stop, the divisiveness between each other as people. Now, I know there's a side that wants to trade freedom and liberty for security, and of course, I'm not on that side. I'm always going to pick freedom and liberty over security any day of the week, especially when it's security that's out of our control, right? As an individual collective, where we all have our own way of life and we all find ways to come together. And of course, I can understand the other point of view. I can understand why people, give their energy away to people that they feel are smarter or that have more insight, and trust this structure of the world to figure out how life should be and to follow that, and that's going to save the day. And that's the cautious and the more smarter thing to do. So I can understand both sides of it. But how are we going to find our common denominator as a human? How are we going to find the common denominator as a collective? That I can't just sit here and do a horoscope right now or do a fun show and have and it kills me because I love doing this show. I love doing Deep Love Tarot, and especially I love doing my weekly sun signs, mixing it with this show, especially that's what I was so proud to do tonight. But when things change, you have to listen to yourself. You have to listen to your gut. You have to listen to your soul. You have to listen to the divine. And that's the common denominator that we all have, is the divine. And I know that some people don't believe in that. Some people don't believe that there's a God. Some people don't believe that there's a divine orchestration. Some people think it's a random world out there. And you know, of course, you know what side I'm on. I'm on the side, I believe in God. I believe in the divine. I believe everything is orchestrated by the divine. I believe that the divine is here that connects us all as humans and as a collective. But I know that there's another side that does not. And instead of, you know, this back and forth battle over every day, it's like World War I. I mean, nobody's going anywhere. We're digging a trench. We're staying in the trench and we're shooting at each other. And we are getting, what, a couple feet? Ha. Ooh, Biden fucked up in Afghanistan. Look at, we just gained another 2 inches of ground. And then boom, look at Trump. No, now he's supporting and won't answer the question about a passport. Like, what the fuck? So I guess retreat back a little bit and the other side goes, see? Is that really what we're going to do? I don't think that's a coincidence that it was, and this has nothing to do astrologically, to be honest with you. But, I mean, we were here 100 years ago fighting over these stupid things and nothing was accomplished, but a bunch of people died and had stress during this a 1918 flu. I mean, well, at the same time, there was a war over literally feet, inches, yards, meters of land. And is that where we're going to continue to be at in our lives? I mean, is that where we're going to just continue to stay at? Because I know there's a truther community out there, and that's what I'm part of. And we spend our days and our nights and our months and our years just continually have this calling to feel to wake people up. And not everybody's going to feel that same calling, and not everybody's going to look at that as sane. Not everybody's going to feel connected to that. And, you know, a lot of people got really upset with me weeks ago when I posted about this passport situation. I mean, what's the difference between Nazi Germany and asking for your papers? And it was unfortunately used in the same manner. Of course, it was definitely geared towards certain groups of people by their ethnicity and by their religion and by their race and so forth. But can you not see that it's now just taking the same thing and blanketing across the collective and going, who's not following this plan? That if you don't follow this plan, then you are completely not allowed to be part of society anymore. You're not allowed to do anything. And it's hard for people that are on the side that I would say that a lot of us are on, or that I'm on, if I'm going to come from my first person view of this. We don't understand it because we would never do that to people if it were switched. I mean, just take, I don't even want to talk in like possibilities, right? But just like, what if it was a moment like in the video game or Resident Evil? That was the first thing that really came out during this whole entire weird life, right? And what if it was like, gosh, anybody who got that thing is toxic, right? And there's some people who believe that, right? I'm not going to use anything but facts here. There's no full factual energy on that. So I'm sure some people can offer that, but I know plenty of people who have it, and I know plenty of people in the world that do, and I know people who have suffered from it, and I know people who have not felt a thing. But what's missing here is the remembrance that we as a society and we as people and we as humanity have come so far in such a beautiful way. And something came along to fuck that up. And it got the best of all of us. That's what Capricorn does when Pluto's there with Jupiter and Saturn. Everything comes back to 2020. Everything comes back to the entrance into 2020. And whether you could see it or not, I've been calling it the spell, of course, with Mercury retrograde that happened in Pisces. And it went from don't worry about it to, well, a couple ships that are coming in are not doing too hot to it's just a couple weeks. You got to chill out and just chill at home to watching Australia fight for their freedom to literally leave their house thousands of children being forced to go into a big stadium without their parents. And so, yeah, I don't understand from our side of the fence. We don't understand how people think that's okay. You know, whether we want to look at it or not, the Western society and the Western civilization right now is banding together in this plan to shut down the freedoms that we all, I don't care what country you're from, whether it's Canada, whether it's the UK, whether it's any part of Eastern Europe or Europe itself, South Africa, all the way to, gosh, there's so many great countries all around the world, I couldn't name them all. But somehow have turned into everything we said we would never turn into. Yet all these countries that are not part of that are doing the opposite. They're thriving. They're not squabbling over these things. And it's difficult. And I know a bunch of people are scared. The fact that we're in a world right now where all I get on my phone is how scared people are because they have a choice. And you know what? We all have our own choices in life to make. You know, how long on television did you hear my body, my choice about abortion rights? How long have you been hearing about your choice to be an astronaut, or if you want to be a housewife, or if you want to be a carpenter, or if you want to go to a big university and be a doctor, that this world was about the choice to be that, and how much you put in and how much you want to do in life is what you get. No longer are any of these choices available unless you go through a very private and personal choice about your own sovereign body, your own soul, and what it feels, whether it's good or not. And the fact that people are out there now okay with that, you know, it's hard because it's like, how are they setting this thing up to where, you know, I say this is not about left or right because it's like, personally, and I think a lot of us feel this way. I mean, maybe there's some people who don't, who are very extreme religious, but whether it's gay rights or whether it's abortion rights or whatever, it's like your life, your choice, it's your freedom in this life. But what? All those people I know, I think the hardest thing for me is watching the DJ community that I have invested so much in, the astrology community, which I've invested everything in for my adult life, completely turn and do everything that they do not preach. House music is about being one and looking after each other And no longer a club that I put over a decade, 15 years into my time, my energy, DJing, and I'm blessed for the opportunities from that place, but also I gave a lot of just my time, my money, my love, my promotion for, and always said things, is doing an event now where, yeah, no, unless you don't have it, you can't come to it. And I know everybody, I'm not even looking at the chat or anything like that. But we need to have this talk. We need to have this open talk. We're not seeing it. We're not having it. I mean, on High Vibe, we do have this talk. It's on its own platform, but I'm doing this publicly. I do as much as I can publicly. I go live on Instagram all the time. I'm on my Telegram. I tweet stuff out. I'm on YouTube. I do these shows to try and help people. But I'm at a place to where, man, this is a big cleanup we got to do for humanity here. And we need to set the bar straight here. And everybody has to check themselves individually, because we all need a cleanup, like individually. So we can't put blame on other people right now. We all have to clear the decks for a moment here. We have to clear the energy, and we have to actually look at it and go, do we believe in that we actually are human beings, and that we are a collective, and that we are one together, and that anything out there right now that is trying to push some sort of narrative that is of segregation and pushing people away from things, especially, let's just not deny the facts here. Like, you have a better chance of passing away from 100 other things. But those things continue on. I've lost more friends to fentanyl, drugs, crime, obesity, car accidents. This world is not a full-blown safe place. And it never will just be perfectly safe. The only safety that we have is the love that we have for each other, that we all know as a collective that we're all living on this earth, and this is the only place we have to go. You know, we're all not building spaceships and trying to find a way to get out of here. A couple people are. That's about it. And you know what? We all paid those people to do it. We all bought all that Amazon shit. We all did all that. So, but like in this world, that's the freedom, and that you can't get mad at that. Can't get mad even if that tax thing, even if they were taxed up to shit. Guaranteed that wouldn't have stopped that spaceship being made. But history tells us a lot. It tells us a lot. And as an astrologer, the only way to actually do astrology is to use history. If you don't use history, and you don't look at what happened in the past when planets were in the positions that they were at, or the aspects that they make, or the ingresses they make into new signs, or the patterns that they create, then you're not able to tell the future of your life or even understand the core fundamentals of what following planets is about and following cycles. And we're at all these cycles that are all pointing to tyranny. And we're all, as humans, choosing it. It's not the outside forces. They are persuading people. And whether you want to believe that or not, just take a look around. Take a look around at life. It's a lot easier to say yes to the tyranny, so you get your hall pass, and look at everybody outside like, why don't they just take the hall pass? We've all had a time in our life where everybody went a certain way, and we went, you know what? I don't think I'm going to go that way. I used to do drugs a lot when I was a kid and I was young. And there came a point to when I finally said, I'm not going to go that way anymore. And, in society, it was, not only was it hard to date, but it was harder to have friends or be judged upon by families or so forth. Like, yeah, that guy does drugs, But we've all been there in some way, form, or fashion. We've all been, as humans, in some place where we didn't go the direction, and everybody kind of whispered in the corner, like, "Hey, yeah, they didn't come here with a gift at Christmas. They're not doing well. They're on unemployment." Yeah, I heard that they got divorced, and he's going to be without a job. He's a loser. Yeah, she's with that guy that just keeps abusing her, but like, she'll get it one day. Too much of life, we've learned to push people away more than to bring people in. And this is a moment where we need to bring everybody together. We got to find a way to huddle together on this one, because the only thing that these full moons in Aquarius, 2 of them, taught us with a new moon in Leo over the last month was that the only thing that the collective has to fix anything is love. That's it. The love of humanity. I mean, I'm not trying to get all Michael Jackson on you and start singing, like, bringing the world together. But it just comes down to simple facts. I mean, MLK Jr. fought to not have to be segregated on which bathroom that he could go to. Or Rosa Parks, in which seat she could sit on a bus. And the fact that we are living right now in a society that I don't care whether you're left or you're right or whatever, that anybody right now, if we're going to talk about spirituality and we're going to talk about love and we're going to talk about being human, to watch another human being have to go suffer by being segregated over something that doesn't fully work as it was promised, or something that honestly has still, even after today, has no information. And if you actually read it, they still have to submit more info over the next coming months and even years. But no, you probably didn't go to the website and read that. How are we here? You can't blame it on Biden. You can't blame it on Trump. You can't blame it on any of this stuff. We got to look at ourselves. I spent this whole weekend during this full moon energy in bed because I was done. And that's kind of one of the reasons why tonight I'm not doing my shows, because I felt like number one, I actually was just like, I'm done with this pattern of doing this show at 4 till 3 or 4 in the morning on a Monday night. Everybody's not watching anyways. They're asleep. I have to take control, and I have to take action about cleaning up my business, my employees, and how we are going to make shifts happen here to make this run efficiently. And that's on me as a business owner and as a CEO. And I have to do that right now in my life, because I'm running myself down to the ground. And I have to be able to put more effort forward into getting my team together to understand how to do it. I can't put blame on them. It's on myself. We can't put blame on anybody. We have to put it, not blame either. We just have to realize that we all have to take a responsibility within our lives right now and do what's the best for everybody. And it's not what this idea of doing the best for everybody in such a weird way that doesn't make sense, that doesn't feel natural, that doesn't have any answers to how we even got here. It does not have answers. And I'm sorry to say, but the divine always has an answer. And I love this show, and I was all bragging it up. Yep, Monday, come through with sun sign horoscopes back for my YouTube audience and my public audience, and also mix that with Deep Love Tarot. And I love doing this show. I have so much fun. The show triggers people. It makes people laugh. It makes people hate me. It makes me, I enjoy that. I enjoy being so real and authentic and reading what the cards do say and what the astrology says, and helping people evolve in their life, helping people see whether it's the deepest of their shadows or the greatest light that they have right now in the moment, and to capture that and understand that, but still to make your own choice. I don't do horoscopes and I don't do astrology that are here for me to tell you what to do. But here's a recommendation, and you choose to do it or not. One of the weirdest things being an astrologer and doing 10,000 plus individual readings, and I've stopped for over a year because I guess I'm finally finding the answer at this very moment with you right now. You can see in somebody's chart just like, oh no, don't go that direction. But it's not my authority as another human being to tell another human being and force them the direction to go. Even if I see in the astrology, I'm like, don't go there. Your progressed moon is at the end of Pisces, and you're really going to go down that road? You're so close to that progressed moon in Aries. You're just 3 months away, while you're having this bad transit there, whatever, you know what I mean? I know I might be speaking gibberish to some, but it's not our jobs as humans to tell our fellow brothers and sisters what to do. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to offer guidance and help, but people make those choices on our own. We're not here to tell people who they can love and who they can't love. We're not here to tell people what they can eat and what they can't eat. Sure, you can have interventions with people, but again, an intervention is something where at the end of the day, even on the worst intervention shows that were ever on A&E, that individual had the choice to walk out of that room or to band together with their family or their friends and go through with that or not. I'm sure, but being on a reality show, of course, and you have cameras on you, yeah, it helps a little bit, maybe make the right choice. But we don't know if that even is the right choice. It's not for us to determine. It's for that individual. And that's what natural rights are. Whether you believe in God or not, whether you believe in a divine creation or not, that you naturally, somehow, if we want to take the other way of looking at things, you somehow mathematically or randomly came here into a point where you do have that choice in your life of what feels right to you or not. If you walk into a room and there's a bunch of people and it just doesn't feel right, you have that choice to go, you know what, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to walk out. And we learn through our own lessons in life of maybe we shouldn't have stayed continually going in those same patterns of being in those places. But we're at a place now where the collective is lost. The collective is glued to the next story of this. It is a story. It's a movie. And if you can't see that movie and how it's playing out, perfectly timed with each scene, and to see really as like almost like what especially Pluto and Capricorn to me is the test of the structure of the collective ship. That we've got holes and we've got to dike them up, and we've got a whole hole that's ready to crack, and are we going to just keep, what are we going to do? Are we just going to keep waiting till the water, well, look at Titanic, the unsinkable ship. And I know some people are going to be like, well, that was done on purpose because there was a bunch of bankers on there and whatever. For a second, just take the moment and just realize that was what was said. There was an unsinkable ship that went out to sea. And of course, when the captain's asleep, the first mate sees the iceberg, tries to turn the boat. Nope, hits it. But no, we've come up with this really good system. It's unsinkable, that it's going to take on water in certain areas of the hull and disperse them correctly so it can trap the water. Didn't work. This idea that the collective has some sort of plan that's physical. When we are metaphysical beings, we have an aura around us that is proven vibrationally, electromagnetically from our heart and our field of aura that comes around us. I just don't understand how we're going to keep squabbling and fighting over the most basic human rights ever. I always cite the study from 2013 that's been massively peer-reviewed. 2013, so we're not talking about, oh, let me just see that article. I don't trust it. It's not from fucking this or that. It's like, shut up for a second and look at what this thing said in 2013. That authoritarian, individual authoritarianism, so individual, not government, but individual, during moments of pathogens in countries or in the world, that the score is higher than a person with 170 IQ and their guarantee that they could go to college and finish college or even get into a college, that they're so smart that that's like one of the highest not averages. But when you get to this authoritarian thing, it's the highest. It even goes higher than the highest that it can go. It goes over. That people, when they get put into fear, that they start becoming authoritarian to others. Put that mask back on. You better be doing that. You get out of my house. I don't want to. You're a plague. You get the fuck away from me. You really think that we're going to live in a world where not only is it what we see in our governments or all these people that we put all the blame on, we need to actually look at who's being authoritarian. Who's being authoritarian to their neighbor? Who's being authoritarian to their brothers and sisters and saying, no, get away from me. You should be doing that. I don't like to give away personal stories, but let's just say one of my best friends months ago wasn't allowed to see his family unless he got the shot. Well, he called me after the hell that he went through and the hospital experience and the heart surgery. He's my age, no problems. Went in there. Oh, wait, no, there's nothing in there. Oh, your heart's inflamed. And he's like, yeah, after taking this, and he's on the left. Him and I have been best friends, and I've always leaned more right, and he leans very left. But when he called me weeks after the incident, because he knows where I stand on all this stuff, I put it out publicly all the time. And I was heartbroken when I talked to him about it. Just because I care about him. Like, I don't care about his politics. I don't care about anything. I don't care about anything except just, what can I do, bro? Like, I fucking love you, man. You're my best friend in my life. Like, we have so many amazing stories and all these great things together. And he's like, dude, I can't even do anything about it. I can't even sue or I can't do anything. He can't walk upstairs the same way. He can't breathe the same way. His work, which wanted him to get it too, started getting weird on him because he had to take more work off and he wasn't as strong at work. Today, I put a comment on a fellow astrologer's thing, like, yeah, this is real astrology. And some guy attacks everybody and attacks me. And I guess that there's a, this guy had zero facts. One, saying that my election predictions I deleted. Nope, never deleted it. Sent the link in there and everybody went, I always have my receipts. So there's a consensus in the whole astrology community right now that the Leo King has deleted his prediction videos that haven't come true, that I am a QAnon astrologer, which is something that I was laughing about in 2018, being like, I feel like QAnon is the funniest thing I've ever heard of because all the stuff that they say is stuff that a lot of spiritual people have been saying for like 30 years. I feel like they jacked a bunch of spiritual shit. And I'm sorry that I don't like Nostradamus. I'm not a big Nostradamus fan. And to me, when I look at a Q thing, I'm like, it's the same way that I look at a Nostradamus prediction. Like, this doesn't tell me shit. That doesn't tell me nothing. I'm used to amazing astrologers out there who, when they make a prediction, and there's very few that actually make predictions and world predictions in mundane astrology. It's actually a very small group of us. But we give a lot more than Nostradamus, and we give a lot more than fucking Q. And I have the receipts on 50 videos of me being like, no, because I read in the comments, I'm like, no, I don't even know where to read all that shit. I don't even have time. So the assumptions have just become rampant. The facts have been twisted in all parts of life now. And as a chess player, you can't see the pieces on the board being moved to put everything into checkmate on society, on everybody's life. This is a wake-up call that we've all been screaming about, and then others have been saying, you're crazy, and you're killing people, and you're doing all that stuff. I hate to give you the biggest truth bomb, but how come it, and I put this out the other day, since if I say this, there's nothing wrong with me saying it, since I have been a television personality for a long time. I'm a celebrity astrologer and done the charts of many celebrities, uncountable, and on television with celebrities. How many celebrity posts have you seen in the last 2 weeks of people that got that shot saying that they are sick? Including politicians. Everybody I know that hasn't got it hasn't been sick. That's just basic environmental facts around you. And I can't speak for those who got it, and I have no negative feelings towards them at all. None. Zero. But it'd be interesting because they seem to hang out. It's become a segregational world, right? Like, we get to go over here and do whatever we want, but we can still spread this thing like fucking you can. But because you don't have it, you're the one causing all the problems. Like, how the fuck does that make sense? It just, like, common sense has been lost. It's been lost. But I'm not in those groups. I'm not allowed to be in that quote unquote club. Because my astrology predictions years ago, which I have the receipts for, warned about this shit. Hardcore. And no, it wasn't because I listened to Alex Jones or because I got it from some cue board or something like that, because none of them was saying the exact time, the exact moment, the exact things to watch out for, and that something that was going to come that was not going to be natural would come and take away and force people to start turning on each other. And so my biggest prediction has come true, and I am here tonight with my deepest truth talk to you. Like, do you still believe that that prediction came true, or do you not want to believe it anymore? And you want to just completely at this point watch people that you know, and it's ironic if we are going to get into left and right, that it's mainly people on the left for some reason who fight for my body, my choice, people to turn from sexes to another sex, to identify however they want to identify. But yet, when it comes to this, no. I come from the rave scene. And 80 to 90% are in that world now because they want to play shows and they weren't able to work. And I get it. But they also are so at a place where they are so terrified of all this stuff that they're willing to discount anybody who has an alternate opinion or who wants to talk about it. In the dance community at raves, we talked about, back then, we were talking about 9/11. We were talking about the fucking weird shit. Do you think it's an irony that the anniversary is coming up, or that we're in the same nodal aspects as the events that were right after 9/11, which was the TSA, and that you could no longer go to an airport and pick up your grandmother and just walk to the terminal? No, you had to have a ticket and an ID, and you had to have all this stuff, and you had to get checked, and you had to have your shoes taken off, and you had to do all this crazy shit. And the whole entire time, nothing happened. The same orange and red alerts that now they're using about areas in the country where you can be safer or not as safe. It's the same fucking thing. I remember sitting at a rave on a bunch of ecstasy and a fucking cuddle puddle, being like, you know what, love, and all of us, and I'll be honest, I don't remember every single person, because cuddle puddles got pretty big back then. 50 to 100 of random people with their shirts off and fucking listening to some fucking DJ just blast it out and like fucking just rolling balls, but no one plur, and being like, love wins. Looking at somebody in their eyes and seeing them and talking about how beautiful their eyes are for 20 minutes and how sweet they are as a person. And these things that I learned in the rave scene, I think that's the hardest part for me, is like seeing my brothers and sisters in the dance community completely push it away and push back and say no and leave that. And then my astrologers that I love in my life and the community of astrologers, just I'm excommunicated, like, because I'm so vocal, because I look at the astrology in a way that says we need to be looking at a Saturn square Uranus like this is a collective issue. This is not a scientific breakthrough. This is a scientific problem. This is where we do not experiment on humans. This is not where we just put blind faith into things. But when the facts are skewed, when the numbers continue to change, when even the kit that everybody was tested with for the last year and a half couldn't even determine, just was, but it's not a big story, of course, but you can go look on CDC's website, you can go look anywhere, and guess what? That motherfucker never was able to determine whether you had the flu or whether you had this fucking thing. And you were tripping balls for a year and a half, fucking possibly with just the flu. And that's fact. That's not fucking bullshit. That's fact. It's actual fact. That I don't want this collective to go through a split. That going through my old blogs that I sent to somebody last night about the Palladian channeling that I started doing this work with was all about this 2012 movement and this beautiful awakening of this love and this light work of this new world that was coming. Not some new world order, but just a world that was more interconnected beautifully and people understanding each other more. And we had reached so far, even with technology, all the way to all rights of all people and whatever they wanted to do. And of course, there's always going to be pushback, but not a pushback like we've ever seen like this over something that literally is taking away the rights away from all of us, including those that you are pushing back on, but you yourself are losing too. And that's the common denominator, is no matter what side you're on, you're losing your rights. You're losing your ability to live fully. And that means that you can't be with other human beings fully. And that's the red flag moment. And as I sit here in Southern California recording this to you, am I going to use the history? Am I going to use the astrology and actually use it correctly? Because exactly where we're at right now with Uranus and Taurus that just retrograded on Thursday is when we saw the Nazi regime and we started to see the TB shots and we started to see, oh yeah, I use vans and all that. And we started to see the first rules start to come out against Jews. The first set. The Jews that saw the writing on the wall and left Germany survived. A lot of them that stayed did not. And for me, being in a state like California right now, where I just get talked shit on 11 miles north of me, because I'm in Orange County, from all these people that said they loved me and they cared about me, that are in the celebrity world and all this shit, that don't use their check marks, that don't use any of their fucking platforms to talk about any of this stuff, but to just stay silent and talk shit on me and look like I'm some fucking crazy person. Oh, the second that whenever all this shit gets weird and they start wanting to know who out there is fucking out there fucking spreading whatever fucking information and then being called a terrorist now and all this crazy stuff for speaking truth about just humanity. And you're not worried about that? And you're going to just push that to the side for a second? I'm asking questions. What do we do? I don't have the answer. We all as a humanity and we all as a collective only can answer that as one. But right now, we're not making those calls. Those calls are being made, which is very weird. And I'm just going to ask the question, why are all these officials on Zoom and putting official shit behind their green screen? You all know I've been doing green screen horoscopes for a long fucking time. Why is the Surgeon General never in an office? And why does he always have the worst fucking green screen ever? Why does the CDC director always have a green screen behind her? Why does Fauci always have a green screen behind him? Why are people now just putting behind official shit? Why aren't they sitting in front of the official shit? What are they, lazy? Why is the president not speaking from the Oval Office? Why is the Joint Chiefs not in session with the president at the head of the table at all? Not one picture of that yet. Not one. Is there even a government out there? Or have we all fell for a movie? We don't know that. There's way too many things that do not make sense. There are way too many things that do not align with humanity, that do not align with who we are. And I don't know. I don't know why we are at a place where people are freaking the fuck out about this whole situation, number one, and about freaking out whether people get something or not. Because we haven't before. You know, I lived many years in Hollywood and in LA and on the West Side and all that as a person in television and entertainment, as a single guy before I got married. And yeah, you know what? You have to be careful when you go on a date, making sure somebody doesn't have an STD. But I don't go around saying like, yo, fucking, I'm so nervous of this shit. Like fucking, and stopping the world. Did we stop the world from that? Did LA especially stop the world? No, they kept doing their fucking movies and pictures, just pushing sex all day. Well, I pushed astrology and got made fun of. I think the thing we're going to notice years from now is that whatever we have all been listening to that has been either for one side frustrating us because we're like, that's bullshit, that's against fucking freedom, and that's against our rights as a human being, and actually that is written on a document that we follow this whole country by. I can't speak for Canada, I can't speak for Australia, I can't speak for Great Britain. That's not a republic. That's not people that define that world. There is a monarch that can take over. And some people have always tried to deny me on that one. I've done all the research. It's there. Look it up. Look up governor generals for Canada and for Australia. They live in a monarchy. And the monarch that representative of the monarch is the governor generals. It's not your prime minister that's telling you what to do. It's the governor general that's tapping the prime minister, and that governor general is reporting back to the monarch. In America, we don't have that. There is no supreme being. There are three branches of government that check each other and balance each other out. There is individual states that band together to form a country. And each state, you choose how you want it to be. You know, you go to Nevada, they love gambling, and then you can smoke inside. You can go to the gas station and gamble and smoke a cigarette at the fucking gas station. There's an ashtray in front of the doors too, right next to the pumps. And the pumps there, they choose not to have the California ones with all the oxygenated and keep out from the air shit. And people lighting fucking cigarettes right next to it. No problem. That's their way. What happened to that? You know, we talk about this world now in viruses. The virus that's going around is the virus that's taking away everything and trying to make everything the same. More stickers have been produced in 2020 than any other sticker of a distance sticker 6 feet away in America. Stay 6 feet away from people. But I thought this place was so overpopulated, you'd think that at this point that we wouldn't have the room to stay 6 feet away. This world is too overpopulated. You'd think that it would be too much. We'd be taking up too much land if everybody is 6 feet apart. No. You know, I love living in California. I love it so much that I'm having the hardest time making a choice about leaving, which I'm pretty much on that, like, already got all my feelers out, have my meeting with my accountant, have a real estate agent out in Texas, like, because number one, I don't want to be continued to be looked at as the plague. And number two, because to do spirituality, you need to be free. Be able to say what you want to say. Be able to live the way that you want to live. People fought in my family and a bunch of other people's families in the Revolutionary War, fought in so many different ways, or even just didn't have to fight, but had to leave tyranny of religion and get on a ship for a new world and didn't know what the hell was going to go on. And, you know, the argument of, you know, well, look at what those people did, and they brought plagues to the natives of the land. Like, eventually on this whole world, we were all going to evolve to where we were all going to run into each other. I think people forget about that it was bound to happen whether we like it or not. That it's bound to happen, these moments in life, to where we're all going to still be bumping into each other, and now we're trying to do the opposite, and we're trying to create cages for each other, of our own species, of our own kind. The animals must be looking at us right now and being going, what the fuck are they doing right now? This is not going to be an easy in September into October. Because Saturn in Aquarius, Pluto in Capricorn, like Saturn and Pluto met last year. And their meeting that happened on January 12th of 2020 hadn't met in Capricorn since 1518. And the one prior to that with Jupiter in the same sign was in 1284. And I know that some people are like, man, you used to talk about this shit all the time. And I was talking about it years prior, preparing people. And, you know, I can say there was a lot of astrologers who style bit off the way that I presented it and all that shit. Whatever, it don't matter because we're all in the collective. As long as the message gets out there, I don't care. But now that these two are going to come direct this year after last year when they came direct, what did we see? We saw this weird world for sure go, not the old world that we lived in. Now with Saturn in Aquarius, there are issues now with not only the collective, but that the world and the way this world is affecting your life. And that world is the world of people. That's what Aquarius rules, is people. That other people are here to stop you in your life. To stop you from being free. To stop you from making your own choices. To stop you from what our founding fathers and what everything has been based upon was for you to make your own responsible choices. And if you're not responsible with things in life, like actual fucking crazy shit, there are laws out for those things. But there's no law out there that fucking, if you get a cold and you get somebody else with a cold, that you're going to go to jail. You know, I smoke cigarettes, but mainly just my Juul, as you see here. And, you know, when they did the whole, you got to smoke outside 20 feet away from the entrance, of course I did it. But I still had the freedom to be able to smoke, and I still had the freedom to be able to live my life. Sure, I might not have been able to, I could still walk inside, though, when I was done. What's the difference between the couple that's next to you screaming at each other and watching some guy fucking just literally treat his wife or some woman with the most upright disrespect of all time? And that's a hall pass? So we're going to live in a world now that because you got a shot, you can get in places, but that's all that people are looking at. They're not thinking about all the things that we have as humanity that, God, some fucked up shit people could do. And yet, just because somebody doesn't have that pass, they won't be able to go in there, and they might not be causing problems. They might not be getting too drunk. They might not be fucking going in there and starting a bar fight. They might not be going in there and spreading fucking herpes through fucking everybody in there all the time. Like, I can go on for an hour. But the thing that this pass is supposed to protect doesn't fucking do anything different than somebody who doesn't have it. You spread it just as much as we do. Supposedly. And people just have a hard time dealing with that because they were told that that wouldn't happen. And the biggest red flag of all time happened today in our lives. An approval for something that, if you go read it, doesn't have the right full approval, and it's fucking doesn't even have the data that has to be turned in till later on about the safety of long-term and the issues that have come up. All that data hasn't been fully looked at yet. Go read it yourself. And if it was fully approved, then there would be no emergency for any part of it, which there still is. That means you still can't fucking sue if you have your life destroyed like my buddy did. You still can't hold anybody liable for it. You're the liable one. You're the one who has to make the choice, and they're making it to where that's the only choice that you have, or you get nothing, or you lose your job, or you lose everything. And gosh, how many people that were there that we were supposed to call heroes last year are going to lose their jobs now? How many people, and are you going to just sit around and accept that and just be like, yeah, those people are disgusting? You were Nazi Germany Hitler at that point. And everybody tried to say Trump was Hitler. Trust me, I'm pissed at Trump right now. That motherfucker went up there fucking and dodged a fucking question about the passport and then brought up the fucking shot and then said, well, I got it, but like, you know, oh, well, I believe in your freedom. And then that's all he said. So I'm calling him out too. Like, what the fuck? Is this all really just a movie? Is this really just a movie and we're just watching a perfectly well done movie for you to give away every part of your life to this movie? Are these characters even accessible? Where do they go? I've done this so long and I've put out the warnings and in 2020, I got hit so hard with so much negativity and so much resistance that I thank God every day that I have this studio, and I thank God every day that I have this network to where I'm able to speak my truth and my freedom of that truth on a platform, and people make that choice whether or not they want to be on it or not. And I have no problem with that. But for those that know me and maybe don't like me and maybe are going to watch this, like, you know who I am. You know who I am a decade ago. You know I care about the collective. You know that I'm the one who started illuminating the collective consciousness, and I still say it every day in my daily horoscope. That has not stopped since 2012, every day. But I have to get my own life straight here at my business. We've had many things change and have to reformat things for me to even be able to do this right now, while at the same time dealing with if this whole company is going to move, because we're in a state, we're in a place that actually does not condone free thinking, free spiritual thinking, questioning the norms, which all people that are probably watching this that have been spiritual at one point, you did, but now you don't. Well, at the same time, I've had great losses in my life, from talent to employees to best friends to, I understand. I looked at tonight and I told Ann, I was like, I can't do this show tonight. Like, it's just too much. There's too much that we need to get this company straight, and I'm looking at the future of it, and I got to get my team together and be like, I have a mission. I have a mission that will never stop. And that mission is to illuminate the collective consciousness. And that mission is looking like it's having to make a big, major change. And in order for me to make that change, in order for me to continue to do this without killing myself, literally, like just by stress, I had to deliver this message first. But I also had to tell you that the reason why this thing happening tonight and all that is because the same way that you're going to have to look at, because I'm going to give you the horoscope right now and pull the collective, just cards, is we all, with the sun in Virgo now, with Mars in Virgo, Mercury Virgo, opposing Neptune and Pisces. Mercury and Neptune opposed on the day this approval came out. You really think there's a lot of truth to it? Way too many things hidden behind. And when you do start looking behind on the actual website, when you read those documents, you'll be like, this makes no sense. But because we are in such a weird world at this moment, it's a puzzle. And it's a weird puzzle. And it's a puzzle that we all have to clean our shit up, and we need to make our adjustments. Virgo's about adjustments. The collective needs to come into the wholesomeness. And what the late Jeff Jower, one of the best astrologers ever, and I was blessed to get a reading from him at the end of 2014. And I love his work so much. And there's so many amazing connections through him and Rick Levine and all the people up in Seattle. And I've had some of the most amazing times there. But, it's like, he put it best. Like, when he did a reading for me, it was just like, we all have our own shit we have to go through. And when he gave me that reading, he was battling his cancer and he passed away less than a year after that. But he cared about the collective and he cared about people. And it was weird because at that time in 2014, I was suffering from anxiety very bad. And I was asking for him and he was telling me, he's like, well, man, you got Neptune square the nodes. And those are connection points, they're connections to this world and the other world. And of course it's going to feel like you're not in this world. He's like, he's the one who really opened me up to semi-squares a lot. He's like, yeah, Uranus semi-squaring your moon. I'll never forget, he called my moon in Taurus an old truffle moon in Taurus, because at the last degrees of Taurus, last degree, all truffled moon. But I think about what would he do during these times. I know he would speak up, because I remember him and Rick Levine, they had their daily and I had my daily. And that was the dailies on YouTube at one point in 2013 and 2014. And we were bringing that love and that light, all three of us, about astrology and positivity. And I always supported them. I always loved that show. And I couldn't imagine what Rick Levine had to go through losing Jeff as his best friend, and that they could speak that same language. Christopher Tucky's been my best friend in this, and him and I have been just, in different states for many years, and haven't got to do any of that work together in a long time. But I know that kind of feeling, but I know that Chris is on the same mission that I'm on, that same lightwork mission. And it's a mission of truth, and this is that truth that I have to deliver to everybody right now. Like, we all right now have to go. Are we on the mission to do the right thing right now for humanity? Are we on the right mission to do the light work and to be good to other people and to let people be, and to support all people and to lift other people up instead of push them down and segregate and do all the things that, gosh, the things that led to civil war, the things that led to civil rights. But even though that civil rights movement was a beautiful thing, the price that was paid for those civil rights was a hefty cost. The price of the Civil War is one of the biggest hefty costs of all time. But of course, at the end of the day, it was worth it to end slavery. But do we really have to get there? Do we really have to? Do we all have to do we all want to repeat these cycles? That's one thing in astrology. I think one of the biggest things of this age of Aquarius is, are we going to keep repeating age of Pisces fucking cycles? These loops and doing the same thing? And, the term history repeats itself. I don't think they use that in the age of Aries. I don't think they use that. I think that's a 2,000-year thing of age of Pisces. We break cycles in Aquarius. We figure them out. And we realize that all people have a unique individual way of doing things, and that the only way the collective works is when that is allowed. And that's what Saturn is testing, and that's what Jupiter is only paying the gifts. If you notice, everybody who is going against the collective right now and trying to segregate it is not doing well in their life. They're still having to find a way to band together, even to do the bad shit. But I'm continuing with all my normal programming the rest of this week. But tonight, I wasn't going to put myself through that stress, and especially that this was much more important. The red flag fully is here. Uranus retrograded. We have 5 planets retrograde, and we've got both full moons in Aquarius done. And we now are in Virgo with Mars and Mercury in Virgo. Mercury's leaving Virgo by the end of this weekend. We got Venus in Libra. We got Venus opposing Chiron this week. Like, are we really going to not live in an equal world, a just world, a world where beauty is through justice and harmony and understanding equality? Or are we going to let our wounds judge other people? Especially when it's taking away the very divine right of fairness and equality of all people. How could you even... I mean, I can get it as an astrologer with Chiron and Aries that people are finding their identity through this time. Like, I'm a warrior because I never found my warrior energy before. So putting on this sticker saying I got this shot and fucking telling people to go get it is making me feel like I found who I am. Well, it's only temporary. It's a lot like how war veterans have to feel after the war's done. What happens? PTSD. All this weird stuff. And then they try to relive that life in some sort of way, or they try to get the fuck away from it, from the pains that they realize that they suffered through. The fact that Justin Trudeau just said this last 4 or 5 days that even people that medically, that their doctor says can't take this shot, can't travel, and is lumped in with those that because they didn't get the shot. And they legitimately don't have an ability to do that. Whereas in America, we have the freedom of choice through our speech. We have the freedom of our religion. We have the freedom to assemble. We have the freedom to form militias to protect ourselves from the government, to bear arms. We have the rights for our rights to not be infringed upon, to not have search and seizure done without fucking due process. We have a ton of rights. And they are all being taken away at this very moment right now. And people want to give credit to that that's okay. That's not in the Constitution. I'm sorry to tell you. It's not in there. And too many people in government now have been compromised by money and probably by threats. I get death threats all the time. I don't take them serious. We have people show up here creepily. I put the videos out there. I don't know where they came from. But I'm not afraid. And I'm tonight sitting here with you looking at this astrology, looking at this week in the astrology and going, it's time for us to all make the adjustments in ourselves. I have to adjust things here at High Vibe to actually function. We're all not functioning right now. If you really want to look deep, we are all not functioning as an individual right now normally. Even if you got the shot or you didn't, you're not functioning. Life is not functioning for you. And are you going to close all the rights we have so at least we can figure out how to function better? Or are you going to contribute to fucking this system that's trying to take away all this to where people, as you yourself and me included and the person next to you are all trying to find a way to function, just to function. With all this Aquarius, it's just shattered reality. It's trying to figure out how to fucking make it through the next day. It's stress. It's all these things that have changed on us so quick, yet did it have to go down this road? No, it did not. And so this is the moment in your life where you now as an individual have to realize, are you ready to not just protect, but to support the collective? We don't hear it from our leaders. We don't hear it from people with their platforms. I think Nicole Arbor just did a video this weekend that I shared, and I was fucking like, fuck yeah, girl, because she fucking called out anybody who has any platform, any amount of followers, should be speaking the truth about what is going on right now and taking away all these rights and all this shit from people and segregating people, because we might not have even a country. What, you're trying to protect yourself for your job? What if there's not even going to be your ability to work that job because of these crazy measures that they're putting out in the world? And these cities, I can't even believe this stuff in America, like, that are just doing that. Now, and this goes against every fucking facet of what we're watching, the greatest fucking law breaking of all time. And you know who's doing it? Ourselves. Individuals that are going with it. Well, I got to keep my job. I got to do this. You, or even the people who don't get it, but still are going, well, I'm still going to go and I'm going to go get some, like, people try to tell me they're going to get some fake passport and shit. Like, good luck. You're buying into that. You're contributing. And I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to come out with this video. I'm not afraid to stop regular programming tonight and change it up. And even though it's what I've been saying for a long time, but have a square off of Let's all, as a collective, we need to figure this shit out, and we all need to figure out our own shit. I have to figure out shit here at the business and make it run better so I can still do this right. And it reached a point tonight to where everything's not right, and I have to arrange my team and make sure it all works and see who wants to stay on board and all this shit. It's a lot. And there's a lot of pressure, but you know what? I'm not afraid to face that pressure. I'm not afraid to face it as truth. I'm not afraid to look at it as truth, the same way I'm not afraid to look at it in the collective. Do I want to continue my fucking 5 a.m. work nights? And I complain that, haven't been able to find love since my divorce 2.5 years ago? Well, maybe because like 90% of women really don't fucking go to bed at fucking 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. Like we are all not functioning in some sort of our life. Some people were doing work and it's working, and some people are not. Some people are in great love relationships and some people are not. But then they're lacking in their work, or they're lacking in, everybody is not functioning. And we need to all realize that we all need to, at this moment, go inside. And the number one way for us to make sure that we can function is to make sure that the collective has each other's back. Left, right, country to country, has each other's back. There's no excuse to not support the people that are resisting the tyranny in Australia right now. There is no excuse to not support the tyranny happening in Canada. There is no literal excuse to support the cities, the businesses, and the fucking mandates in America that take away your liberties and rights that are not being done by the people. These are being broad stroked and thrown in, and by you following them. They are not laws. They are not laws from the people, from the House of the people and the Senate of the people. They are not. That is not how the country works. And whether you want to believe it or not, the media has always been fake news. Even when they told us that there was weapons of mass destruction, and Colin Powell went up there and even knew it, but who knows the pressure that was on him. I went out there and said that at the UN, and I was in the Navy at that time and got out of boot camp and went, I guess I'm going to war. Guess I picked the wrong time. And here I am on my nodal return again, having to make a choice. Same exact transit. Same, my nodal return, I joined the Navy and went into boot camp. Well knowing, though, that we were going into Afghanistan, but thinking, oh, maybe we're just going there to get rid of the people that were, in fucking the planes with the box cutters and get rid of them. No, what happened? It turned into Saddam Hussein and weapons of mass destruction that was never found. And I had my great awakening sitting on an F-18 Hornet in VFA 151, the Vigilantes in Lemoore, California, as I was putting stickers on the side of the jet, because I was a plane captain, that literally, I was like, what are these for? And they're like, the OD guys came up to me and said, like, the ordnance guys came up and said, oh yeah, this is for the tens of thousands of tons of ordnance this jet's fucking bombed on people. And I helped those jets get up for a long time. As a plane captain, that's my job. When I was a plane captain in the U.S. Navy on an F-18 squadron, my job was post, pre-flight, and in-flight on the fucking tarmac, getting those jets off the fucking ground. And checking with all of the electronics mates, the ordnance guys, the hydraulics, the engine mates, all of them, moving the jets around, cleaning them, and the plane captains, the PCs, we were the ones that fucking got the fucking pilot to take his hands off and check that aircraft. And at 18 years old, 19 years old, I'm there hot fueling it next to a fucking jet intake and getting those jets up in the air and making sure everything's good and fucking sending that pilot off and saluting and sending him off. That was what I was doing at 18, 19 years old. And it didn't feel right to me after, and I'll give Alex Jones credit. You know, he came out with a lot of DVDs at that time about 9/11. And actually, it wasn't just Alex Jones. There was fucking Loose Change, that movie that came out. And I remember watching Loose Change, and I remember going, in the military, what the fuck? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that the Pentagon got bombed in the area that there was nobody at and it was under construction, that the plane happened to go there. Or the one that was going towards the White House lands in Pennsylvania in a field. Or the one at the Pentagon, it takes a while and it's got a camera and the plane's level with the ground. As a plane captain and as an air crewman in the U.S. Navy from being a rescue swimmer when I joined, I know how aircraft work, and aircraft you cannot land an aircraft straight on the fucking ground of a one-story building flying like that. A fucking airliner. You cannot do that. Please, anybody that watches this, fucking tell me otherwise. With not even a mile worth of field between the trees and the Pentagon. Or watching videos of the Sands Hotel go down and the explosions the same way, watching those towers go down and World WT7 go down fucking with no fucking reason. But, you know, the IRS was in there and they were going digital. And so all the fucking documents that they didn't want to go digital just so happened to never make it in the new system of the new Jupiter, Saturn, Taurus conjunction of 2000 that led into the 20 years. Oh. So it was about money for 20 years. Now we're in Aquarius, Jupiter, Saturn, and well, what? It's about people? Then let's make it about people then. Let's remember that the most greatest gift we have in this life, because without people in our lives, if we were alone on this planet, like in that movie I Am Legend, or Tom Hanks when he was in fucking Castaway, would be hell. That our greatest gift is our brothers and our sisters in this humanity. And are we going to fucking squalor that away because of irrational fears that you can't see common sense through using astrology and using history and seeing the patterns repeat so simply, and it's right in front of your face? And for those that have been watching me forever and just can't listen to me because you're triggered, because you don't want to listen to truth, or because you think I'm a Trumper, or because you think I'm a Q person, or you think I'm because of all this crazy shit you want to fucking go with, you're not looking at me as a human being here. You're labeling me. And you're not wanting to look at, I'm trying to say, yo, I've guided you for fucking 10 years and I helped you out and I got you to the place. I'm telling you the same shit hasn't changed the way that the astrology works. And I've only just got better as you get older as an astrologer and wiser. But at the same time, I'm not unhinged. But I am somebody who's willing to put it all on the line and put my full, genuine, first-hand knowledge and self and soul out there for people. I'm not afraid to put myself fully out there. I'm not afraid to tell you my pitfalls. I'm not afraid to tell you the things that I see in the world, the things that I see in the astrology, and put it out there. And I'm not afraid to defend our humanity. I'm not afraid to fucking put truth out there. I'm not afraid to not speak up. I used to be terrified of speaking when I was young. I used to, when I had public speaking at the beginning of all this journey on my first reality shows and prior to that or in drama or whatever, I was terrified. My hands were shaking. But you know what? I pushed through that my whole life, and I've pushed through every fear, and I've pushed through every bit so I can be able to speak my truth on my platform always, and always give you that to humanity. I made that my number one fucking mission, and that's, I know the mission from the divine. I know that's the mission from God, that I am here, and all of us are here to speak our truth and to speak for humanity. And to, when we see humanity being betrayed, being stripped away, and if you're not going to speak up, why are you here? Why are you here? Are you here just to keep staying in your stupid life that's doing the same thing over and over and over again? What else is there left to talk about? The most incredible, yet not, I mean, it's an incredible moment because this is where, when we're at the brink, is when we can make a change. And we are at the brink of either losing our humanity or rising through the darkness, and becoming the best humanity there ever is. And it's not by this crazy fucking way that they want you out there right now to do it. It is not. That is not going to do it. It would have done it already. Because things that are from the divine, like when you have a childbirth, I've never had a child yet, but I have a nephew that was born in my life that changed my whole life last year, that my brother and my sister-in-law had, that I can't describe because it's instant. The same way that my pets, my dogs and my cats in my life that I've had, when you connect with them, it's an instant wow. It changes things. When you meet people that are meant to be in your life, it's an instant yes. This shit has not been an instant yes for humanity at all. If anything, it has been backtracked, and not one thing that said was going to happen has happened. Everything they tell you that is not going to happen happens. Everything that they tell you won't happen does happen. And that's an abusive relationship. And the collective has an abusive relationship with about 100 people. Probably less than that. Because those other people that are below are just listening and watching the news and watching these other leaders that fucking, who knows who's talking to them? Who's really set this whole thing up? You know, I did Battle of the Gods last year. And for those that know me, or those that watched, or those that were in my life when I did it, they saw me do, which no astrologer has done. I traced back every Mars retrograde in Aries, square Saturn in Capricorn, for thousands of years. You can't do that with a chart program. I had to well, you can, but you can't just automatically search for that. Going that far back, going into BCE. And I was amazed that at the end of 2020, not only was it Jupiter Saturn, but it was Mars retrograde in Aries coming direct. The last time we had that in the full sign of Aries was December of 1941, or it was November into December of 1941. But it was very interesting that it wasn't square Saturn in Capricorn, though. But it was the Pearl Harbor attack that came right after the direct motion. And I think it was 4 or 5 degrees after. And 4 or 5 degrees after Mars went direct in 2020, we had a cyber attack on America that everybody doesn't talk about or wants to even go. And has that infiltrated all of us? And I warned about that, and I said that it would be a hidden attack. Who's doing that attack? Because whatever that is, whether it's an AI, which if you watch my Purgatory, which I thought about for an hour today, should I put Purgatory out there? I don't think it could be put on YouTube. I mean, I did it in April, so it's coming up on 6 months old, but I wish that video everybody would have been able to see, because everything that I say in that video has happened. That if you really believe that this little passport thing and you doing this right thing for what the media says in the news is going to actually get you to where you want to go, it's going to keep you in purgatory. I might put it on Rumble or something. But in there, I talk about the supercomputer that came out in October of 2019 from Google. And ironically, it does look like Dante's Inferno or hell in the actual layers of it. But these new quad supercomputers are smarter than our supercomputers. They beat them in every war game scenario, in every game scenario that a human or our whole collective couldn't outsmart. And have we been compromised by an AI system already that's ironically taking people over? That's a question. I don't know if it's true. But it definitely has the writings on the wall that there is something deeply connected with a machine that could read every bit of our iPhones, every bit of our stuff, and know the exact time that people broke up in your messages, and take all that data and within 2 seconds give you the answer of what's the average time that couples break up and what's it about and what was the precursors to that and what was the pictures that was put on that Instagram or that Facebook before. You know, the sad part is I know we can blame things on the big tech guys and all that and the people, but you know what? This is not even them. This whole system of all this stuff is AI run. There's very few people running these things. The system is running itself. That's why you don't see crashes like you saw on MySpace. When Tom would show up, right? Your only friend. Hold on, we're fixing MySpace. And literally they had people fixing MySpace. All I ask for you to do is keep your mind open, seek truth. And the number one truth that always comes first, especially during these times and at this moment right now, is humanity. And allowing humanity to be humanity still. And I know that calling is within every single person that watches this video. I love you whether you got the shot or you didn't. I still even love my buddies who are throwing this event that I went to every Tuesday for fucking 15 years of my life that I can't go to. And they know it's already through all the communities that I don't have the shot. So guess what? Like, you think I'm going to ever try and do a fake thing? Like, come on. You know you're not doing your truth if you're having to use a fake card because nobody knows because you're not speaking your truth. And there's not a lot of people who can say that. And at least if I get taken out or I die, which I would never take my own life, by the way, at least I know I fucking lived my fucking life fully and I lived my truth and I spoke my truth. And when it came down to the fucking green flags showing yellow, when it came to the yellow flags, when it came to the yellow flags with a black ball and a yellow flag, and when it got to the yellow and a red, and when it got to the red, I still was there the whole fucking time. That I would never turn away a friend of mine who was a liberal, and I still wouldn't. I would never turn away a person with a shot in my life to hang out with or to talk to or to speak about love and spirituality and life with. And the fact that all my friends in Hollywood, all my friends in LA have blacklisted me. All the astrology community, except very few, have got this left-wing fucking crazy way of you can't have any of these people on because they're not going with the narrative and all that shit. And I am not going to name names, but I got the fucking insight from somebody like, can't that person can't go on that person's fucking channel because that person also is speaking truth. And if they have that person on, by quote, oh yeah, I don't want to be working at fucking McDonald's. That's the astrology community. Too scared to fucking say anything. Too scared to talk about humanity. Too scared to take on all things. Not all of them. There's a select few of us out there. You know. And I'm blessed that they're out there. And there's some astrologers who don't get the credit where credit is due, that are speaking more truth and more better astrology than I've ever seen in my life. Like Robert Phoenix and just like people that I work with that are just mind-blowing and amazing human beings that are fighting for humanity right now. Because there is a big fight for humanity going on. We need everybody to come back together. This doesn't need to be a fight as you think of it. This is just banding together and not turning the corner down the wrong direction. Not going in the segregation, not buying it. If every single person right now on in America or in Canada or everything chose not to report to their jobs that force this stuff, if we all chose not to do things all together at once, none of this would happen. We are the ones with the power. We are the ones with how we determine this world to be. And that's the only way we are going to get out of this now. There is no other way. That a shot is not going to fucking take this and get it away. That is the biggest lie that you've been told. Never got rid of the flu. So this week with the astrology, with Venus opposed Chiron, which I think is probably the biggest one because Venus is at home in Libra and Chiron's in Aries, with Mars now steadily going through Virgo and full speed ahead and done with the trine to Uranus and done with its quincunx to Saturn. And, you know, this is where we make the adjustments we need to make in our life. The moon done being full and coming into Aries this week. And we're going to see a moon Chiron opposed Venus. I think that this is why are we blocking ourselves from the life we want? Especially with the relationships we have, whether that's the collective relationship or individual ones, that the lesson was love over this Leo season that was rare. And if you notice, all the Leo seasons have been very rare. Whether it was the eclipse, the total eclipse that happened in 2017, or the lunar eclipse with Mars retrograde in 2018, or the final of the last part of that eclipse energy in Leo and Aquarius, 2019, right before all this stuff started to get weird. The comet that came in Neowise during the solar eclipse on the solstice on June 20th that started at 29 Gemini and reached its peak brightness at 0 Leo on July 23rd. Maybe that's what you don't understand about me, is on my birthday and on my solar return last year in 2020, I had comet Neowise conjunct my sun on my birthday, on my solar return. But maybe you don't follow that stuff. But as Mark Twain said, I came in with Halley's Comet, and by golly, I know I'm going to leave with Halley's Comet. And guess what? Halley's Comet came and he died. I'm not talking about me dying. I'm just saying that comet that came through on that solstice was more powerful than you realize on June 20th of 2020 about restoring our emotional lives and listening to our feelings and having to learn to restore them, but it was in opposition to Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, and Capricorn. And we're all trying to get not only out of this weird Virgo energy of like how we're going to get back to operating our life. The answer is emotions and love and happiness. Neowise went through, and also our heads, and went through Gemini, it went through Cancer, went through Leo, and finished in Leo. And that's where we had two, if I'm correct, two new moons. Yeah, two new moons in Cancer. We had the solar eclipse, and then we had the new moon that was at 28 Cancer. I'll never forget. It was right before my birthday. I'm like, fuck, man, I'm double Leo. Like, there's two fucking in Cancer. Now we just had 2 full moons in Aquarius with 3 suns in Leo and lunations with a new moon. Is all what that comment and all of that the time on the other side of the fucking aisle has been the darkness, which is control, which is authoritarian, which is trying to take away your emotional comforts, your family, your friends, your life, your emotional needs, your comfort. And so anything that even does that, I mean, even think of the shot. It's not comfortable. They try and say it just fucking stung a little and I felt really sick for a day. That's all. You think God shows up with gifts like that to fix problems? God comes with love. God comes with joy. God comes with peace. And God comes with truth. God would never force you to take something in order to survive. Because you were given as a human body everything that you need to survive this earth. Whatever comes out from it, even the humans that create the crazy shit from it. Somehow I'm surviving this propyl glycerine shit. And so this transit of right now, in this puzzle piece of trying to figure out how to piece your life together, you can't operate efficiently, Virgo, if the collective cannot start banding together. And all of us have to band together through all speaking out about reaching a hand out and realizing the weird shit that's about to come down of choices that have been made. And at the end of the day, we're going to have to still find a way to band together. And that's going to be very difficult, I know. But we need to remember, are we going to fuck this one up? Are we going to lose this? And this week, you know, the sun will square the nodes. And it's a destiny point. It's a part of death. Either good for transformation or the death of the collective in truth and living in a fucking South Node and Sag bullshit collective lie. That's not holy and not pure. And that's what this week's about. And to not keep pushing away love, relationships, harmony, and the beautiful life you want by your own wounding of, well, I don't feel like I'm up to it yet, or I don't have this yet in my ego, or you need to have courage, and you need to go into, it's sad I even have to say it, the courage to love, the courage to look at the relationships in your life that really will change you. Forgive yourself for blocking yourself. but then initiate the unblocking process of our humanity and of our individual love and our individual life from the things that we truly deserve and love and that we were given by God to experience. That we were given by whatever, if you don't believe in God, by the anomaly. It still gave us all these amazing things. So I'm going to pull just a collective reading here. And see what comes out. Since I'm here and I said I'd do it, but I'm doing it this way this week. And I'm sorry if everybody's unhappy that I'm not doing the individual signs this week, but I feel like this is the red flag warning. And I've never seen more fear in my life come through my DMs in my life to where I'm not able to respond to them all in the thousands. Thousands. So I'm going to see what this week holds for us in this tarot reading, and how do we use this to find our joy and our happiness, and to get rid of all the blocks, not only from humanity, but in our own lives, in our love lives. I know this is a deep love tarot show, so look this as collective and as love too. We're going to combine both. First card we got is the High Priestess in reversed. Wow. So our gut knows, is this camera working or no? Oh yeah, perfect. Our gut knows exactly what to do, but if we don't follow it, if our intuition is blocked and we're not going to follow the dreams that we're seeing, it's not going to become a reality. Our challenge here is the Seven of Pentacles. I think I'm going to use this camera. And I got it reversed. This is the investment that we put in and we get a return. With it reversed here, no dream's going to come true, no easiness, no our visions and our imagination, but more importantly, our guidance from the divine is not going to come true in our life if we're not willing to put the work in and invest in it, and we're not going to get a return back. The challenge is everybody right now is blocked because it's like, I don't want to put the work in, or that's a lot to do in order to change things that I'm being called to. Like, really? We got the Moon card in reverse as our spiritual advice and our outcome here. We got to stop suppressing the emotional world. We got to stop denying the emotions that we want to feel. And the way through this, Judgment, upright. Wow. This is the calling. I knew it. This is the red flag, right? Here it is, the trumpet call to raise up to a higher part of your life and not keep missing out with that Seven of Pentacles reversed in our challenge, to miss out on our dreams and our guidance from the divine, and to miss out by the emotions that we want to feel and keep suppressing them. We'll use the Botticelli deck. Why did we get this High Priestess reversed here? Oh, boy. The Judgment again. I got a couple trumpets there. So I got 3 trumpets. The 10, the 20. 2020. Wow. And if you just look at this row at the bottom, we got Judgment. I mean, this is your spiritual calling, if you're for it or not. This is whether or not you're ready to put that work in and get the return, or you're going to miss out on all returns because you're not going to follow this higher calling for humanity and for the world and for the beautiful world that we live in, that God is calling us towards. Why did we get this Moon reversed? A lot of major arcana here. Queen of Wands in reversed. Well, we don't get love and happiness, and we definitely don't feel any loyalty, or we don't feel anything good happening in our life when we keep suppressing the things that we want to feel, or we keep holding our feelings in, or we deny feelings from happening. Oh, and we live in a world now that they've found every way possible to make you afraid of feeling, whether it's you're afraid of this whole thing, or you're afraid of what will that look like, or what will this be, or they've created quite a fiasco, if you ask me. I'm going to pick just a couple more cards here I want to understand about this spiritual judgment that we're getting here from this High Priestess reverse. Like, why? I want a little bit more. Knight of Cups. I mean, we're definitely seeing the dreams in the future and the emotions that we want to go towards. And that's the only way through, is this spiritual quest, this spiritual higher calling that we're being called to do in our lives. That's the only place that's going to bring us to happiness. And it is a journey. It is a quest. I got the High Priestess reversed again with the Judgment card with the Seven of Pentacles. If we don't listen to our inner guidance and we're being called towards something, then we're not going to get anything in life. It's just going to be empty. And there's a higher calling right now for the collective, and also in your own love life, to go towards something that you know will bring you everything. But if you block it out, I'll pull one more card with that. Oh gosh, Two of Swords. What, if you're going to just sit and just keep thinking about things and just keep blindfolded, I don't know what to do, you're not going to get anything. And you're going to be feeling like you're empty, especially with that Moon reversed, which Ace of Wands, look at that. So we can reset this whole happiness and this flame and the flame of humanity by stopping this repression of our emotional wants and our needs, and also not feeling like anything good is going our way. We have to start to spark up the things that are good. We need to start to see humanity stand up for each other. And we also in our lives have to prove that with the personal relationships. And, you know, people like to talk about twin flames and shit. You believe in that or not, doesn't matter to me, but I can tell you that there's a reason why we all came here looking for love or relationships. And it's to bond the masculine and the feminine together, to bring in that light together. And the more separate we are from that, or from relationships where they're not really bonding or they're not coming together, we're not going to change this planet, and we're not going to survive this world. And it won't be from fucking CV. What's going on with the Astro cards here? I know I'm coming down with my spiritual shit real hard tonight, but I had to come here and drop this. Like, I feel much more relieved now, to be honest with you. Well, Jupiter return. Benefits. Benefer. But this is a time for us to return back to... A Jupiter returns every 12 years in your life, and you know, we're at a time where, gosh, all the blessings in our life and all the benefits are going to be when we take that higher calling and we listen to our intuition. But if we deny that, there's no benefits there. Why did we get that Jupiter return card? Two of Wands. The world that we actually want to have is waiting for us. But, you know, one thing about the Two of Wands is it's looking at the world that it wants. It has to move towards it. It just can't just like stare at it. What's going on with the unicorns here? I already had shuffled these earlier before I was going to do this show. I was going to do the other show, especially with my hand all messed up, but I'll show you that I'm shuffling too. Cosmic Ruby. Be a peace ambassador. Practice cosmic mastery. Wow. Well, maybe that was for me tonight, but I definitely feel like it could be for, that was my message to everybody. And to the judgment call, and to stop. If you're caught up between like, should I do this or should I not say this, or should you're in confusion about life and which direction to go. I mean, come on. No, you do know. Your gut is telling you, listen to it. The judgment is telling you to go in the direction, and you will get something because you actually invest in that and do that work, or you will not. Especially, it's time for people to step up. We are peace ambassadors because we are ambassadors of humanity, all of us being a human, and that we have to practice that cosmic mastery that the cosmic made us. Even a scientist can agree with that we are all made of stardust. We are all made from stars. You can't deny that one. That the cosmic mastery worked whether or not you believe in astrology or not. What's going on here with the vampire deck? Well, why did we get... I want a little more insight. What's going on with that cosmic ruby? Two of Pentacles reversed. we've been too sloppy, too all over the place, juggling way too many things in our life to not focus on the ruby of love and the cosmic truth and the mastery of the peace ambassador, and also being connected to the vibes that we want in our life. Like, we've been wish-washy, especially with the Two of Swords and a Two of Pentacles reversed. Like, you're wishy-washy. No wonder you can't make a choice if you're not going to step into something and trust your gut and go. Like, this is the time to go. There's no more, I got to wait. You know, I mean, I know that all these planets are retrograde, but I'm just trying to tell you that when this shit, what we're about to go through here is not going to be fun. This is not going to be a September that you want to remember. And I know that some of my old Leo King people are like, when I used to do September to remembers. But no, this is a September we do not probably want to remember if we all do not make these calls now this week and these changes this week. We cannot keep pushing it off and say, I can just push it off another week. No, we can't. Supernatural. You got to be kidding me here. Look at this card. Supernatural, inexplainable, miraculous, and otherworldly. With that Ace of Wands, oh my gosh. To get us out of, the only way out of this world is love in the most supernatural, miraculous, inexplainable way. Instead of repressed emotions that don't make you feel happy and feel that you have that feminine happiness in your life. That this is a spark that comes from the supernatural. This is a spark and flame in our love lives, in our personal lives, and in our humanity right now. That's inexplainable, miraculous, otherworldly. And why did we get that card? Oh my gosh, the Ten of Cups. The ultimate love and happiness and the true fantasy of that's real. The ultimate of all ultimate achievements in life, which is the ultimate happiness of love. And to have that with an Ace of Wands, to get out of this emotional repression, I'll pull a Botticelli card with that. You got to be fucking kidding me. The Lovers upright. I'm telling you, the most amazing fucking story for humanity is going to come from lovers that are true. And stop blocking it. That's what's going to save the world is love. I know it's been sung about, it's been talked about, it's been everything, but I'm here to tell you that shit is real. Now, this is where I always pull a Ganesha card and pull a couple others and then pull some majors. And then that's my truth transmission of this week. And for tonight, what does Ganesha have to say here? Delight. The delight of our life is waiting for us. This is a delightful world. It's a 3 card. It's an expanding time. It's time to expand the delightness and bringing of the light, delight, of the light, of also a lighter energy. Is when we're in our delight, we're delightness and our happy, and it's of the light. Why did we get this card? 9 of Cups upright. Yeah, it's time to go enjoy our lives and feel the amazing places and fulfill all of our cups so we can reach the ultimate place of delightness, but also our dreams. And an 8 of Wands reversed that followed that. We need to actually start looking at where our energy is going the wrong direction. That it's not going in the direction of delightness. It's blocking. It's not going in the direction of our fulfilling our needs and our emotions, and that it keeps going towards this repression. It keeps going towards this not happiness. It keeps going towards this work we're not willing to do and get any return back, but are expecting a return. Not following our gut, not following the ultimate calling, not getting on the trail, not getting the benefits, not getting the world that we want. What's the majors say for this? Magician card reversed with the Chariot reversed, with the Hangman reversed, with the Empress reversed. I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to break the majors into these 4 quadrants here. Why did we get this Magician reversed? A 5 of Wands. So as above, so below. It might feel like a conflict right now, but everybody's being called to find their divine truth and be that truth and embody it. It might feel like it's conflicting, or some people might not get it, or some people, it might feel like it's a lot that, you know, oh, I don't want to be conflicting to the world, or I don't want to be conflicting. No, a magician here is not afraid of anything, and it's not afraid to know as above, so below. But, you know, it's like, what are you doing in your life? You're not going to live that life? Like, you think that's too conflicting to live your truth of being a human, that you are a conduit from the divine down here in the physical? The Chariot reversed. Page of Swords. You know, you need to be honest about what you need to pull out of now in your life. But at the same time, because it's a Chariot reversed, I almost feel like it's like, you know exactly where to go. Stop acting like you don't know what to do. Like you don't know where to go. You do know where to go. You're being called to go somewhere, and you're like, the truth is out there. Like, communication, the messages have been sent. They got the Star card with the Hangman reverse. We're in a time where we can unhang ourselves and get out of this like kind of weird place where we feel stuck. Yeah, we've been observing quite a bit, but we've been observing too much. And now it's time to start this fresh new beginning and this beautiful energy and the refreshing energy of humanity and ourselves. And we got the Empress reversed with the Hermit reversed. Yeah, it's time for us to stop trying to figure out how to create this physical, amazing life that feels supportive and loving and can create abundance and, you know, wrap us around with all this beautiful energy and support by us walking away from secluding ourselves and trying to figure things out too much in these crazy ways and being alone. Not going to work. And I'll pull one more last card. And because I'm an astrologer, I'm going to pull from the Astrology Tarot, from the Black Moon Astrology deck, but I'm just going to pull from astrology. Well, it is Venus and Libra this week. It is about love. It is about relationships. It is about love, though. That is about what this is all about. We're going to get rid of this in our lives. You know, have you even thought about now that you just, if you go down the path of, you know, segregating humanity, that now you're segregating your possible soulmate? Or possibly the person that God had intended for you to align with that might save your life. That might give you that extra bit of courage when you're down and you're walking down the street and say, hey, are you doing okay? And having a fun convo and just a quick, it's all good, man. Got your back. Like, you're cool. There's so many things here that people are not thinking about on a grander scale of how beautiful humanity is and how much humanity is trying to wrap itself around each other all the time, that we are here for each other and we are here to be together, whether we like it or not, whether people have a shot or not, whether people fucking are sick or not. I mean, that's how we've lived. That's how we always will live. There's no way to change that now and turn this into some sort of AI fucking crazy fucking idea that we can just all be separate parts on a circuit board. Like, it's just not how it works. I love you all very much. I appreciate you listening to this message. I hope that it got to you. I hope that this horoscope helped you. I hope that just my talk to humanity and my straight talk with you and my truth, which of course to me, this isn't anything new doing, but I felt like I know everybody was expecting another show this week and everybody's expecting all these other things, and I show up with this. And, you know, at first it was because honestly, like I have to make some adjustments here at work in order for me to even show up to do this show better. And that's on me as the owner. But at the same time, this message was more important than any of that stuff. And I hope it helped you. And I hope that, You leave your fears and you leave your emotional repression and suppression. And we leave this segregation and we start to put the work in and start to go towards where we're being called to and trust in that divine. Because all of us are divine. And if anything, it's the time for us to do it. And love and beauty and happiness is what will change things. So I appreciate you all. You can always find me on highvibe.tv if you really want to be part of HYPERGATE, which I'm doing every Tuesday. We're 3 classes in, got 5 more left. It's more than just an astrology school. It's how to get out of the matrix, how to get out of this program that they've installed in the world, and how to get out of it fully and to fully be in the divine. That's the best way I could describe it. But you can find out more. Go to highvibe.tv, click on school, click on HYPERGATE, or go to highvibetvschool.com and click on HYPERGATE as well. We'll see you, of course, on the app. You can find us on Apple, Android, and you can get us on Roku TV or Apple TV. And subscribe through there and get all my daily content, all my weekly stuff, and all the videos and shows that we do here at the studios and with talent from all over the world. Appreciate you all very much. Sending you all my love, and I appreciate you listening.
Initiating HYPERGATE. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. HYPERGATE activated. The portal to illuminating the collective consciousness has finally opened. Please enter